This is lab number 2 and is part 2. Alright, just want to let you know that you're hearing my audio, there's no video for this. Let me just pick up on where we're going. According, if you look at our problem in the book, says consider the following sequence. They kind of gave you the framework for this. So what I would like for you to do is start in part A, where it says write the C++ statement that includes the header file IOStream. So that's actually this part right here, the header file. They kind of commented you out for that. So if you come up here and you can do like part A. But a little bit more documentations would also help. But what this does is it tells you to actually put the include statement in there. This one right here is the one that you actually go in, you put in the part B. It says write the C++ statement that allows you to do the cin, cout, and the NL, which is the end line, without using the prefix std : with it. So this is the what's considered as the using namespace statement with it, using, or you can just put part B. Okay, so that will take care of that. The next part is inside between your curly brackets. This is where the main function is. This is where you're going to spend most of your time in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 looking at this. And what I would like to do is talk to you about between this int main. This int main is the main function. This is a reserved word. Just to reiterate, what is an int? An int is an integer. The integer actually returns a 0, which is a false in this main function, because your main function doesn't interact with other functions right now, or any header files right now. As we're going to keep this really simple with it. So it's just basically returning a false right now with it, which is what we do want right now. The first thing I want to talk about is what's on in the book says variable declaration, and that's what we'll go into. This is part C, the variable declarations for this. So it says write a C++ statement that declares the following variables num1, num2, and num3, and average as type int. Okay, so let's do that. Int num1 semicolon. I am lazy, so you're going to see me copy and paste quite a bit here. So move till we can have a little bit more time here in this. And then I'm going to edit some of this stuff really quick. So make sure when you do copy and paste that you do copy the correct syntax, or else if you copy and paste the wrong syntax, and you're going to just make a mess out of this. So this is, and the last one is an int, which is the data type, which you should have read your book to know what is an int data type. It only takes integer basically with that as well. But there is another part to this I want to tell you about, is when you get more comfortable with your coding, you can always do like int space num1 comma num2 comma num3 comma average semicolon. You can declare all this by one line, okay, which just makes it really sweet. Execute is the next one. You're going to execute some statements in this. Okay, so this will move on to part D. Well, not yet. And actually, you still are declaring, assigning some variables to this thing. So part D, they would like for you to come in and assign some numbers to num1, num2, num3. There's several ways you can do this, but I'll tell you what, let me do this the long way so you can see how it's done. Since you have this thing declared, come down here and we're going to use num1 equal to 125 is what they want you to set it to. They want you to set num2 is to 28. Do this. Num2 to equal 28, and then num3 is going to equal negative 25. Okay, so you got num1, num2, num3 that actually is going to assign to that. So you're basically initializing is what the step is. Part E, write a C++ statement that stores the average of num1, num2, num3 into an average. So this is where the kind of like a somewhat of a calculation. So to assign something to it, you have to put it on the left-hand side of the equal. So the average, make sure you have that declare. The average is what? Num1 plus num2 plus num3. All of that's in a parenthesis divided by the number of elements that you're adding, and a semicolon. So all that's assigned to your average. The next statement states that we need to, so that takes care of part E. Okay. So let me pause right here. This is what we have up to thus far. So rendering that. So let me pause.